friends. Welcome to our Read Aloud. And today we're reading a new book, Fish is Fish by Lionni. Doesn't mention an illustrator, but it looks like a really cute book. And we will go ahead and get started. After reading, I will have some questions for you. And also to the parents, check our description box down below. There will be some questions that you can also ask your kiddos about the story. All right. Fish is Fish by Lionni. At the edge of the woods, there was a pond, and there a minnow and a tadpole swam among the weeds. They were inseparable friends. This is a minnow, it's a type of fish, and this is a tadpole. Do you guys know what a tadpole turns into? Let's read our story and find out. One morning, the tadpole discovered that during the night he had grown two little legs. Look, he said triumphantly. That means something wonderful has happened, triumphant. He did something great. Look, I am a frog. Nonsense, said the minnow. How could you be a frog if only last night you were a little fish just like me? They argued and argued until finally the tadpole said, frogs are frogs, and fish is fish, and that's that. Look at there. You see his little legs that he grew? Look at those legs. So that tadpole turned into a what? In the weeks that followed, the tadpole grew tiny front legs and his tail got smaller and smaller. What does he look like? What is he turning into? I know some of you said it. I'm going to wait to say it, but I know you're right. And then one fine day, a real frog now, he climbed out of the water and onto the grassy bank. Yes, you were right. He turned into a frog. So tadpoles are little baby frogs. And they start off in the water. Some of frogs still live in the water, but most of them live at least by the pond or by the water. The minnow, too, had grown and had become a full-fledged fish. That means he's a big adult fish now. He often wondered where his four-footed friend had gone, but days and weeks went by and the frog did not return. So remember, even though the frog started out as a tadpole, he doesn't have to live in the water. Frogs can live near the water, but they don't have to live in the water. Then one day, with a happy splash that shook the weeds, the frog jumped into the pond. Where have you been? Asked the fish excitedly. I have been about the world, hopping here and there, said the frog, and I have seen extraordinary things. That is a big word, extraordinary. That means wonderful and bright and fabulous and great and awesome. Just all kinds of wonderful and awesome things that he has explored. Like what? Asked the fish. Birds, said the frog mysteriously. Birds? And he told the fish about the birds who had wings and two legs and many, many colors. As the frog talked, his friend saw the birds fly through his mind like large feathered fish. What else? Asked the fish impatiently. You know what it means to be impatient? Means not waiting. He's so excited to hear what the frog has to say. Cows, said the frog. Cows? They have four legs, horns, eat grass, and carry big bags of milk. Is that what our cows normally look like, though? Look at that kind of cow. The fish is imagining other animals as fish. And people, said the frog. Men, women, children. And he talked and talked until it was dark in the pond. But the picture in the fish's mind was full of lights and colors and marvelous things, and he couldn't sleep. Oh, if he could only jump about like his friend and see the wonderful world. He's imagining people as fish. All the animals that the frog told the fish about, and he's imagining them as fish. Because he actually doesn't know anything but fish, so I guess that's why he has imagined them as fish. And so the days went by. The frog had gone, and the fish just lay there dreaming about birds and flight, grazing cows, and those strange animals all dressed up that his friend called people. One day he finally decided that come what may, he too must see them. And so, with a mighty whack of the tail, he jumped clear out of the water onto the bank. The bank is like a piece of land area right by the water, right on the edge of the water. It's called the water bank or the bank. He landed in the dry, warm grass, and there he lay, gasping for air. Why do you think he was gasping for air? Do you think fish are supposed to live outside the water? No. Great job, guys. Unable to breathe or move. Help! He groaned feebly. That means he's just not able to do anything. He's very feeble, can't do anything for himself because he needs that water to survive. Luckily, the frog, who had been hunting butterflies nearby, saw him, and with all his strength, he pushed him back into the pond. Good thing the frog was nearby, because something tragic might have happened if he didn't get the help he needed. Still stunned, the fish floated about for an instant. That word stunned means kind of surprised. Then he breathed deeply, letting the clean, cool water run through his gills. That's where the fish breathes from, his gills. Now he felt weightless again. With an ever so slight motion of the tail, he could move to and fro, up and down as before. The sun rays reached down within the weeds and gently shifted past patches, excuse me, guys, of luminous color. This world was surely the most beautiful of all worlds. He smiled at his friend the frog, who sat watching him lay from a lily leaf. You were right, he said. Fish is fish. So what he's saying there is, the frog has a way of life. After the tadpole turned into a frog, he has a way that he's supposed to live. And the fish has a way that he's supposed to live. And that is the end of the book, friends. Fish are fish. Fish can't be people, they can't be cows, they can't be birds. They're just fish. And the same thing with us. We're people. We're not birds, we're not cows, we're not fish, we're not frogs. And the frog, even though he started off as a tadpole, once he turns into a frog, he lives a frog's life. He no longer really has to stay in the water and do things in the water. He can go back in the water, but he doesn't necessarily live in the water. So that was a really cool book. I hope you guys liked it. So, what did you think before you saw that tadpole turn into a frog? Did you think he was going to turn into anything in the beginning of the story? What do you guys think about the tadpole? You think he was going to turn into anything? When you first saw those legs, he sprouted those legs. Did you know he would turn into a frog? Good job, guys. I think Miss Robbins, of course, already knew that tadpoles turn into frogs. But if I didn't know that, looking at the picture, he almost actually does look like a frog right there. So it looks like he would turn into a frog. And what about his fish friend? How do you think he felt when that tadpole turned into a frog and left to go on land? How do you think the fish felt? What was his feelings? Was he sad? Was he lonely? Those are some feelings that we might feel if we have a best friend and they leave. Maybe they go to another school or they move away and we can't see them anymore. We don't see them as often. We might be sad or lonely. Yeah, and I think that fish was very, very sad. He was waiting and waiting weeks and days, it said in this picture right here, just looking for him and waiting for his friend to come back. How do you think the tadpole felt once he turned into the frog? How do you think he felt? How do you think he felt about being the frog? How does it sound like he felt when he came back right here? That's when he first came back. Yeah, he was excited. He was telling about all the extraordinary things that he saw, cows and people and birds. He was just so excited about all the things that he saw. So, do you think the frog like being a frog better, or do you think he liked being a tadpole better? Which one do you guys think he liked being better? I think, good answers, by the way, guys. I think he liked being a frog better. Probably because outside of the water, it seems like he was able to see more. And the fish learned that even though there's some exciting things outside of the water, he's not made to survive outside of the water. Because right here, remember, he's gasping for air, trying to breathe. And then he realizes in this picture that, you know what? I'm a fish and I can't help being a fish. And the water has some beautiful and gorgeous sights too. And he's right, because if you guys have ever been to like an aquarium or having like a fish tank or an aquarium at your house, there are some beautiful things under the water, just like there are on land. So this was a really, really good book. Fish is Fish, Lionni. And you guys have been awesome, awesome listeners today. Thank you for answering all the questions. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.